delicious. All right, good morning, folks. Today's project is we're working on very carefully disassembling our former garden shed in a way that we can preserve some of the beautiful artwork and the heritage from the team that was here before us. So I am not a skilled carpenter by any means, but we had a very blessed friend come by and teach us some of the basics of like deconstructing things in a careful way. So the big steps that we're gonna do is remove the roof first and figure out a safe way to do that, because we're gonna be a little bit higher up. And then we're gonna focus on the walls and how to disassemble these in a way that's gonna protect the priorities for us, which is the art and some of the different scribes on the walls. And then for the floors, that's the last step. We're gonna probably leave that in place for now. We don't know what type of foundation there is underneath this, and it can act like a kind of a cool stage. And maybe we can put a pop-up tent here in the summer and people can find some shade. Yeah, so here's just probably the main portion of the artwork that we just felt like it'd be a darn shame if we tore this down and just replace this entire portion. So we want to preserve this as much as possible. So this is probably the most important frontage for us. The symbolism speaks volumes. So we would definitely want to preserve this. There's some more here on the like handprints and different just very, I would say intimate pieces of work. The most intimate probably is the writing on the wall. No metaphors there, quite literally. We have the name of the organization, Green Place Detroit, and just cute artwork. Mike eats candy. So a lot of names I just don't recognize at the moment, but you can see it's really very meaningful, especially here. Volunteers, people who donated their time and their expertise. A lot of folks that I just don't know, and they probably moved on to different stages of their lives. So 2012, Joaquin, Angelina. So these are some of the things that we want to make sure we honor in terms of heritage. So that's why we're taking the extra measures to make sure we do this in a way that we don't lose any of this. Okay, so here is the consultation that we received from our good friend Jason, who's a very experienced individual. So again, step one, removing the roof. The important thing to consider is how we make sure that we maintain cross bracing. So right now the OSB is behaving like the members that are holding up these 16-inch on center of beams. So as we disassemble this thing, we don't want this whole thing to cave in. So how do we make sure we do that? There's a couple of options to take, but I think the way we're gonna go is we notice that there's a seam here right at the OSB panels. So we're gonna maintain the outmost seams right here. We're gonna keep these in place, and these are gonna behave like the cross bracing. And we're gonna basically, it looks like there's some glue that's holding in these top panels. We're gonna bang these out with a mallet or something like that. Probably get a lot of shingling and things falling on us, so we have like eye protection and all that good stuff. But hopefully that can all come out as two big pieces. That's gonna save us a lot of time and energy. So as that comes down, then we know that most of the weight is kind of off of the structure. And then we'll take out these beams one by one. This one, this one, this one. There's only 3, so it shouldn't really be too much headache. And then as we do that, then this whole roof is pretty much gonna be off. Then we'll tackle these end pieces and then we're good to go. From there, the strategy now is, again, I mentioned before, this is the wall we want to preserve more than anything. This is a wall we can cut into, all right? So as we think about how to pour or how to remove these walls, basically making sure we don't damage the artwork, we're gonna try doing some cuts here along the edges here so that we don't have to try to pry off and sort of damage the fasteners that are already in place. It looks like a lot of nails, so we don't want to like jostle things too much. So we're gonna do some cuts here with the circular saw here and then on that end, and then make sure that we have some bracing on the outside, maybe a couple people, to make sure as we tip this over, what we would expect to see is it just all come over as one piece. And because on the baseboard it's all nails, we would hope that it would just gently pry off the floors. If we see any issues, we'll get a crowbar and kind of help it out. And then we'll repeat the same process with this, maintaining all this artwork, and then we'll work on these 2 ends. And hopefully it all goes well. Get back in character. All right, so we just made a ton of progress. As you can see, we took off the shingles, and our good friend Onofre, I guess he did roof work in the past, just blasted through that. That took maybe an hour. So that was super fast and efficient. Now what we're gonna do is try to take down these joists and then the walls very carefully. And then we're gonna stage all the walls over here by the fence line, which they'll stay there until we figure out what to do exactly with them, but it'll also give us a sense of if those walls themselves can serve as a beautiful mural for the back fence.
So I wanted to thank everybody, for coming out, disassembling it, and this is also, a great way to maybe show people there's an alternative to just putting things in landfill and going and buying new lumber, because we're going to be using a lot of this wood back over. So the shed served us well, but we've got our new shipping container here to keep things more in store, and part of our garden plan is this is going to become a garden bed. So again, thank you everybody, Detroit Building Cooperative, Jason, Jackson, and Onofre, and Alex for coming out here to Cesar Chaves Garden and helping us make one big more milestone forward in our progress in this space.